We'll get started. Pastor, you want to start us?
Let us pray. Most holy and gracious Lord, we come to you today and we give you thanks for all that you give us. Everything we have and everything we are comes from you. We come here today to do the business for your people, and so we pray by the power of the Holy Spirit, Lord, that wisdom is given, that decisions that are made are decisions that you would have made for this community. For we desire for this community to grow, to be healthy, and Lord God, we just desire for all things to glorify you. And it is in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you very much. I'd like to call this meeting of Board of Commissioners to order. Please rise for the American flag, please. Flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome everyone and ask that you please silence your phones. We'll begin with minutes of the previous meeting.
I'll move to accept the minutes for the previous meeting.
I'll second the motion to approve the minutes.
Motion made and seconded that we approve the minutes as presented. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. We'll move into departments. I don't see the sheriff here. Do you have the 144 for him, or? Okay. All right. We'll wait on him. Jalissa?
Yes.
You have some things for us today?
Yes. As everybody's probably aware, there is a lot of money that came from the CARES Act that went to several different departments. The majority of the money seemed like it went to the Indiana Finance Authority, and it was allocated to each county. This is something separate, even though it does come from a CARES Act funding. It goes to the Indiana Criminal Justice Institute, and then they allocated it to the county. So this is another pot of money that we're talking about besides the 700 and some thousand, just to make that clear.
And this was reimbursable also, or?
This one is going to be reimbursable, yes. What it is, this particular allocation was for justice-related agencies. The funds came to the county. There was $51,572.98 that was allocated. And what they asked was that the county ensure funds were distributed to all of the justice-related agencies in need within the jurisdiction. So what I did, when Gary and Jane had forwarded this on to me, is I had talked to each of those agencies here in Fayette County and asked them if there was certain things that they needed. It's just like everything else, it did have some limitations on what you could apply for. Had to be COVID-19 related, safety precautions, PPE, that kind of thing. So what I did is I took the quotes and things that everybody turned in to me and made sure that it was going to fit within the allocated amount, and put this application together. And then of course I was coming before you guys to get your approval to go ahead and submit it. What it ended up being, and I believe pretty much every organization within the county has applied for something, whether it be PPE, whether it be some kind of equipment, whatever it might be. We can say we've definitely distributed it to every department that asked for something. Some of the things that was asked for: gloves, gowns, masks, hand sanitizer, cleaning supplies. That was actually the largest category that we requested funds for, and that's going to be for $32,750. But you got to understand that's going to all the agencies that are criminal related, justice related. Under equipment, which was the next largest line item, It was $11,197 is what we'd be requesting. One of that is because the jail had requested 25 boat beds, I guess is what they're called, some kind of portable bunk bed, that will help them as far as social distancing is concerned. And then the Connersville Police Department had asked for 5 laptop computers. And then under other items, the prosecutor's office was requesting to do a shield and I believe a partial wall in their office. And the police department did do one. And they were asking for reimbursement for that. So that was the other 2 kind of unusual items, I guess you could say, that we had put in this application. So I guess I'm just asking for your blessing to do this. There's no match required.
Questions? So you said some of these projects have already been done.
Yes, it
So
goes back to
therefore
January 1st.
They've paid,
Yes.
those are not a problem. The projects that have not been done yet, do these departments that are requesting this, do they have ample monies in their budget to go ahead and make the expenditure prior to getting the reimbursed grant?
For some of those, it will not be an issue. Trying to think. And others, they would need to come and ask for an additional appropriation.
Well, that would be obligating the council.
Right, they would have to go before council, do the appropriation.
And I'm not sure legally, Jeff, we can approve a grant that will obligate the council without their prior approval, correct?
That's correct, correct.
I think you could probably approve it pending,
Pending their.
Pending.
Yeah, absolutely.
because this is just the submission of it. They just wouldn't be able to buy or spend any of that money that was going to be reimbursed until they went to council.
Okay. All right.
So you could approve the submission.
Yes.
Pending approval of the council's, or
No, you
approve
could
the submission.
Yeah.
Period. Just approve the submission today is really all you're
Right,
asking.
that's all we need.
Okay, all right.
Yep, so I think you're good with that.
So you need a motion to approve this with the pending permission of the council?
Well,
No. We
Just
have to
approval
get,
to
the council
submit.
approves the expenditures.
Right.
So we just need to approve the submission right
the submission of the grant
Okay,
is all
I'll
we
move to
have to.
approve the submission of the agreement.
I'll second.
There's a motion made and seconded that we approve the submission of the grant application here that Jalissa has presented to us. Are there any other questions or comments?
Make that the ICJI.
Yes, yeah. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Sorry,
you,
Jeff, I
Jalissa.
just wanted to make sure
Thank
now.
you.
That makes sense.
we let
It's
it
a good thing, 'cause
obligate.
the application, I think that's due by September 17th. so.
Yeah, I know. That's what concerned me about it. I don't want to get the cart before the horse, so to speak. All right, Ruth. We'll let you go next.
All right.
Thank you.
This should be another easy one that's not going to cost us any money. We like those things. I'm requesting that you approve Resolution 20-R-8. I think you probably have that. What it is Morgan County has some equipment they are upgrading. And they have a ScanPro 800, which is a piece of equipment that we use to look at microfilm. It's a used model, but they're upgrading. It still works. They're looking to find a new home for it, and I won the opportunity to request that, but they had to sign a resolution agreeing to pass it along to another county, and then they're requesting that you sign a resolution to accept it. It won't cost us anything, except it'll be a good opportunity for me to get my husband to take me on a little road trip out to eat or something, go pick it up. So this will be a piece of equipment that we can use as a backup to the scanner that we currently have. And hopefully I can find a way to also take some of the film that we have and work on it, put it on flash drive, put it on hard drive to get it out to our software provider so that we can go back and put some previous years on our system. Right now, we only go back to 1994. I'd like to be able to get some of those. So that's my plan.
And the microfiche, we're not able to use our new scanner to
Yeah. Yes.
digitize it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't digitize it from that one.
From the micro.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. You can use it to view it and print individual copies, which is what our searchers do.
Oop, there's the resolution. Jeff, you looked at it, haven't you?
Yeah, there's not much to it. It's just essentially, they have to
Look
pass
pretty
a
simple.
resolution to give it to a community, and we have to pass a resolution to accept it.
To accept it, yeah.
No, I typed that. It looks simple. I'm not legal enough. Then should I have made it more?
It's a very in-depth resolution.
Yes, it
and I
is.
think
Lots of
Whoever drafted it did an
Put a
extraordinary job.
lot of time into it.
lots of whereas in there.
I tried to sound like Jeff.
I was impressed.
You want me to make the
Do I
motion?
walk around just saying where it is?
I'll move
Therefore.
to approve resolution 20-R-8.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded that we approve the resolution before us, resolution 20R-8. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth. All right. Jeff, you're on. That's this.
Yes.
So I brought a copy in of the contract with the new software company. Exoff, you gave me permission 2 weeks ago, I guess, to sit down and talk to them. I've got arranged to do a 5-year payment plan. I shouldn't, my budget should stay well within, probably the highest level will be like 2018 budget, which, not too bad. So I think it's doable. It's fundable. The reassessment fund should cover it.
This will totally be covered out of the reassessment fund,
Yeah,
correct, Jeff?
Yes, some of it will come from the sales disclosure fund, but that will be our side of it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I read the email version of that you sent out. And did I understand right, it's a total, there'll be 5 annual payments on this?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah,
That makes it more palatable.
it does, yeah.
Okay,
I'll move to approve the contract agreement for,
Excellent.
with
Exsoft?
Exsoft
Yes.
for services to the county assessor's office.
I'll second the motion.
Motion made and seconded that we approve the software contract with Exsoft for the county assessor's office to be used for through the reassessment fund and
Yes, and the sales disclosure fund for the hardware. Yeah.
disclosure fund. Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. There's just one signature.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. Appreciate the time you put into it.
Okay, thanks.
All right, we'll move on. Matt, you're up, bud.
Okay.
What?
On the sheriff, I apologize. He was supposed to be on the October 6th agenda, not today's agenda.
Well,
I
it's telling you we're not
I
gonna
jumped
let
again.
we're not gonna let him on the October 6th.
Okay.
Today or never.
A couple different items for you today. I presented to you a 144. I gave it to Jane. It's for a COVID site operator. This is the $100,000 grant from the state where they supplied everything for us, and then where we're gonna do the testing. This would be the person that would be running the site, doing the testing. Adrienne Isaacs is her name. She is a certified medical assistant, and I went with a medical assistant because I'm looking down the road that hopefully this COVID testing site is going to turn into a vaccination site, so I want somebody who could do both jobs. So our last district meeting, there was a lot of talk about vaccines and stuff like that in the pipeline, so that's why I wanted to go with the medical assistant route or the nursing route. It's based at $20 an hour, which is where we base the pay. It's like it'll be paid through the grant.
Commissioners can't approve the pay, they can only
Oh,
approve the person.
The person, okay. So it's on the...
Is this 67 hours per pay period?
Right,
Okay.
right. So
And-
Adrienne, like I said, she was working at Dr. White's office, and she's with approval, she would be taking this position, so.
Is this going to be a contractual employee or?
Yeah, I've still have to work that out with Jane and everybody else to see if it's contract, full-time, or if it's full-time with stipulations, or however we go about it. I know it is dependent upon the grant, so the way we have agreed, it's only there as long as the grant's there.
But now, okay, let me ask you this, Matt. Are we your first stop?
Yes.
Or has the council already approved
You
this
guys been my
position?
first stop, so.
Okay.
I wasn't, with the grant, I didn't know that there was since it's completely paid through a grant, I was not sure how it.
Well, you have to go to both bodies.
Okay.
Commissioners approve the person, council approves the money.
Okay, so yeah, you're my first stop.
Well, this is a new job then, right?
Well, yeah, and I'm kind of concerned because I don't know if I don't know if I'm interested in the council creating another position.
Does it just
I-
go with the grant?
Well, that's why I'm wondering if,
This would have to be, I would think, a temporary measure at best, because if it's directly tied to the COVID testing, which I understand it is that correct?
Right.
currently.
Yes.
Okay, well,
Then it's
And I
a
mean, it'll always be,
temporary
it's
job.
always through that $100,000 grant that tells us we have to do the testing, yeah.
okay, well, I would expect that position to be just as temporary as the
Grant is.
grant is.
Well, I would hope the council would use that language, but
Yeah, well, you know, when the water goes down, we don't.
Yeah.
I don't want-
We'll have
Be
to
up
put
high and dry.
an employee sitting on the rock
out in the middle.
that we're
Right.
responsible for, you
Yeah.
know.
I do have plans, I mean, I hope we can, if this grant goes away, we do have our local health maintenance grant that I was gonna talk to you about afterwards, that currently pays 2 employees part-time, and there's enough funds there that we can continue to pay a full-time through, so it's currently paying Stephanie, and it's currently paying Katie Rowland, our part-time nurse, and Katie is getting her nurse practitioner license, and she's already stated that she wouldn't be staying with us after she got that license. So my hope is that Adrienne can take this job for now, and hopefully transition into that job that Katie's doing for us. So
That you already have existing.
right,
Yeah. And I don't have a problem with that. I just,
Can,
I want to make sure that we always have funding.
right. Yeah, this is.
I mean, unless we've got language
Yeah.
tied to her employment contract.
So we can do it as a contractual employee or tied to the grant, or however. That's why I'm here to find out how we need to do it.
I'll move to approve the 144 for, what is it, Arlene Isaacs?
Adrienne?
Adrienne?
Adrian Isaacs, to run as long as the grant does. grant in, so does she, with the approval of the county council.
Yeah. Pending
Yeah.
approval of the position. Yeah, okay, I can go along with that.
And we covered that.
Before I'll second this, I'll ask this question. Should we recommend that this position be contractual or not?
What, does the grant stipulate
No, the grant only.
whether they pay benefits?
No, the grant doesn't even tell us we have to have an employee, it just tells us
That
we
you
can use
pay.
the funds for the employee. But in the grant, only requirements on the grant is that we meet the testing needs of the community. So, that's the grant requirements. I have that in front of us, in front of me, but
I would say, yes, I would like to see it as a contractual.
The grant's only worth $100,000.
So does she.
And if you're not careful, you're gonna be out money before the end of the grant cycle.
yeah. The only other expenses I thought might come from it would be some office equipment and stuff like that. They're supplying all the testing equipment, computers, and all the equipment for the testing. So that's all supplied, the courier's supplied. So the only thing we might have to do is buy a desk or something like that unless we come up with something. So the only place it's going to is salary as of this time. The other option, but there, yeah, like the 100,000, if there's some funding there.
That's a year's worth,
The only other, I also considered
not counting benefits.
we might need somebody part-time.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Dale, if we recommend to the council that this person is a contractual under contract, we don't pay
We
the
don't
other.
pay for the insurance and stuff like that.
I think you're right there. We wouldn't be,
Social Security, we wouldn't be responsible for PERV, any of that.
that would save 18.83%
Somewhere in that, yeah.
off the cost of an employee right there.
But that would be paid by the grant as well. Correct.
Well, don't you also have plans of buying a mobile testing unit?
No, that wasn't, from what I understand with the CARES Act, $740,000, the CARES Act, from what I understood was that you guys were taking suggestions, and if that was something that would be beneficial, we just put that in as a suggestion. That's something that we could use if you had room on that $740,000. So from when I talked to Jane earlier, she said if there's anything that from each department that you thought would be beneficial and could qualify for the CARES Act, submit it. So that's why we submitted that as a possible option for your guys' CARES Act grant. So.
But I don't know, I don't know if everybody understood. They needed to be able to fund that in order to get the reimbursement back. I mean, whatever their projects, their dream projects were.
Right.
And
And I've got another, we're working on another project with Michael too on another CARES Act grant. It's going to be the same way. So I have to talk to Jane about, I went through our budget and it looks like we've got money in some lines that we'd have to transfer to pay for it. I'm not sure, but I have to talk to Jane about it. So.
okay.
Well, I'll go ahead and second the motion to approve this 144. And I think Mark was intending that to be a
Emergency grant.
contractual temporary position to go with that grant.
I know with my other grant positions, especially says if there's no money in a grant, you don't get paid. So you only work as long as we have funding. So
Yeah.
however you want it. But I know we've had preparedness people in full time in the past that did get benefits, but it was paid through the grant. So, but if there are benefits, like I said, I did plan on the grant paying it. So.
Well, eventually, and I hope sooner than later, hope it happens sooner than this grant money runs out. COVID-19 will not be the problem that it is now. So, but when this pandemic does go away, we just don't want to be left with an employee, leftover employee that we don't have
Yeah,
any way to pay for.
right. And I told her that it was a grant position, but I did also mention to her that my hope that she could move into another role, that we have an employee that we're.
And that would be your, I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
there again, that's a grant,
right,
right?
right. So,
Yeah, it's the same situation, I mean,
yeah,
because I think we've written that into previous employment issues that, hey, as long as the grant's here,
yeah, yeah.
you'll have a job, but
Yeah,
when it runs out, there's no job.
right. So I'm hoping, and my thought with this $100,000 grant, is that we can use some of that extra money there to help fund the health department, to make up for some loss, that we've had from.
So otherwise, the testing, there's not going to be any cost involved as far as
Right.
supplies and
No, no supplies. They've
test
already-
kits and
We've already got them.
they're all furnished.
Yeah, we've already got a 2-month supply, so they sent out a 2-month supply. We got them downstairs. They sent the test kits, they sent the gowns, the masks, the gloves, everything we need to our PPE to wear to do the testing. They sent the test kits, they sent coolers, refrigerators, everything that we need to supply it. Once we start our test site, they actually have a courier that will come pick up the tests and take them for sampling, so all we have to do is schedule our regular pickup time. My plan right now is to run a Monday, Wednesday, Friday test site, 8:30 to 7, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then Saturday, 8:30 to noon. So the requirements for the grant are 2 extra days per week and 3 weekends per month. So we just run the Saturdays, we'll run the weekend and till 7, we'll run the extra hours.
So will it operate similar to the test site up here, where it'll be by appointment only?
Yes. Yes, it's off-site appointments, so it's going to be the same type of thing as up there. You will call in and make your appointment over the phone, or you get on the computer and make your appointment. It'll give you an appointment time. You'll come down here at that time. You'll call into the health department and say, I'm here, and we're going to walk out to the vehicle and take the test. So we don't want them ever getting out of their vehicle.
So they won't be coming into the common area of the courthouse, okay.
Yeah, so that we don't ever want, most likely, if they're running 10% of the people currently, have been running positive, we don't want that 1 out of 10 walking through here and getting other people sick.
Right.
So that's the only really safe way I knew to test people without exposing people, is to tell them not to get out of their car.
Okay. All right, motion made and seconded that we approve the 144 request of Adrian Isaacs to work for, under the grant, the COVID-19 testing grant. Is that a good enough title, or?
Yeah, I've got a contract number, a grant agreement, Fayette County. It works for me. So.
Okay, all right. She'll be
It's the CARES
tied
Act.
directly to that grant. Is there any other questions for Matt? Comments?
Not on that.
All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes.
Then I just get on the agenda then for the council.
Yes.
Okay. Also, I did the other grant you were talking about, the local health maintenance fund, that pays Katie and Stephanie. It is due October 1st. I basically went through, and this is what it was last year. Sorry. So, and that's where they had it split up for salary and expenses. With your approval, I will submit for it again this year. Like I said, by October 1st, they want this budget turned in. And like I said, I pretty much copied it from last year, so it pays the public health nurse, which is Katie, and the clerical assistant, which is Stephanie. And it pays their Social Security, Medicare, unemployment. And it also pays for some training and some maintenance and some advertising and office supplies.
Like 33,000?
Well, I think so. Is it 33,139?
There's actually, yeah, it's the two different, there's $17,000 for the trust, which is tobacco settlement, and $33,000 for the local health maintenance. So there's
Okay,
actually
so-
two different grants on one application. And I'm sorry, I had a copy out here for you.
This number and this number.
Okay, so 32,139 is what this, okay. Thank you.
So the total grant would be the sum of those two numbers, correct,
Right,
Matt?
right.
Okay, all right.
And it's kind of, it
I
splits them
apologize,
up.
I'm just trying to understand.
It's kind of confusing. I'm still learning it too. But yeah, it's all in one form, but it's two different,
It's actually two different grant
Right.
sources,
yeah.
right?
It's two different grant sources in one application. So
Yeah. Okay.
So what do we call it?
I was just wondering the same thing.
What'd you say it was?
Local health maintenance.
Local
is-
health maintenance.
Yeah, is the one grant, and the other one is the,
Local Health Department Trust.
yeah. And we've always called, I think that's the one we've always referred to as a tobacco settlement in the past, but it's kind of been renamed.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but this 17,788 out of the Tobacco Trust, that's already ours, isn't it? When there's so much
Doesn't that
money
come
given
back?
to each county,
Yeah, it comes down each year, I get, yeah,
I mean, it's already set.
yeah, the amount.
The amount is set, but
Yeah.
you just
Yeah,
have to
you
show
just
what
have to-
you're doing with it.
Right, right.
Yeah, okay, all right, that's what I thought.
I'll move to approve the local health department trust grant.
Yeah. Grant application and the maintenance fund grant application.
Got it.
Okay, I'll second the motion.
Motion made and seconded that we approve the submission. We're still, we're gonna submit it, right?
It's due October 1st. so-
Okay. The submission of the local health department trust account and the maintenance fund grant applications. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes.
Okay, so thank you. The $100,000 grant, they sent me an email that said, you know, that everything was signed and we will be sending a voucher out. They're supposed to send me a voucher and once they send the voucher, you can claim half or $50,000 of those, of that 100,000. And then 2 months after that, you can get the rest of it. So it's just,
So it's more or less an upfront
right.
grant.
Yeah,
Well, that's
so-
good.
Yeah, so it doesn't even have to be reimbursed.
And that'll be managed through Jolissa's?
Yeah, I've been sharing everything with Jolisa.
I mean,
Yeah,
she's gonna-
so, yeah, she'll track.
She'll manage that, just like Diane did
Yeah.
with other grant.
Yeah, because Jolisa, I've made contact with her, and she wants a budget and all that stuff for
Right.
it, which I'm still waiting on the state to send to us. So
Does-
my big question on this is, they want us to start the testing site by the end of the month because that's when the other one closes. But they haven't sent the voucher and the budget out yet, so we can't really hire anybody until they send it. So it's like, and they're like, it's coming. They've been saying that for weeks. So,
Okay.
so once we get the voucher, then we can get rolling on that.
But
We-
Jane, correct me if I'm wrong, but Julissa will do the payroll. She,
She does for all other grants, she approves the payrolls and,
yeah, that's what I thought, yeah.
We do have another grant I'm working on with Michael. I don't know if you want to talk about it right now or, and it is through the CARES Act as well. It's similar to the other grants. This is for IT.
Yeah, it was the IT health department. They sent out to all the health departments, they allotted money. Fayette County was allotted just shy of $86,000. It was $85,975,000 just specifically for IT items. And I gave you guys the list. Basically, we just found things that we could use for the health department, from improving the switch that's used for the computers down there, to monitors, the towers, some laptops, some tablets, to a new server for what it uses for the data down there, a couple some temperature kiosks that we saw some advertisements for during all this COVID stuff, which is, it's a kiosk that goes in a location like outside the entryway here that has a thermal camera on it with a little screen that tells you what your temperature is, and you can see the thermal thing. And Matt could issue those out during another outbreak or something, and say have one at City Hall or wherever he needs to put them as the health department officer, or Dr. White could issue them out as the health officer. We put 4 of those on there, and they're listed as $2,700 each. And then we got a rough estimate of $11,000 for a record software to try to make electronic records and help with the billing process. Because I think Matt said there's 15 different companies that we send billing to for the insurance stuff. And if we could find a software that they enter one place, the information in it, they hit enter, and then it sends it off to 15 different places to speed that process up, make it more efficient. That could, speed up the process, make it more efficient, save time.
This is a great opportunity for us to upgrade from a completely paper, archaic system to we want to run more like a medical office. So if we can upgrade our billing software and all our computer software to actually be more efficient and be able to, we can do more at the office that way.
And is this to a reimbursable grant?
This is reimbursable, just like the other CARE grant things. Matt says he's got funds.
Well, I'm gonna go over with Jane. So
go over with Jane, but this is another one where
I can look at accounts and see money there, but I don't know until I speak to Jane if I can transfer it or not.
You don't have budgets, so you'll have to do additional appropriation requests.
That's what I meant,
you have to do an initial appropriation to know that. But this is a spending plan that we send it off to the state. Once they approve it, then we have approval to spend the money, and then once we spend it, we get it reimbursed. But this is, until it's spent, they're not going to send us anything for reimbursement. So this is not we've promised to, it's not like
So otherwise, it's a guaranteed, once they approve that, it's guaranteed reimbursement.
Yeah.
Then we can go out and spend, we can find the funds, then go out and spend the money and be guaranteed to get.
That's my understanding of it. It's once they've
because that makes it easier.
Once they've signed off on your spending plan, my understanding is pretty much, okay, we agree that with what you've applied for, what you're going to spend it on. Once you spend it, we'll pay you back. But it's not like they gave us a whole lot of paperwork. It took me sending them my list to sit as a kind of a pre-approval. Does this all look okay to you? Before they finally sent me the form, 3.5 weeks after they originally sent us the amount that they awarded us. And they never did send us a list of rules like they do with most grants that say, here's the things you can spend on, here's the things you can't spend on, here's, your lines, don't cross them like they do with most grants.
Mm-hmm.
They never sent that with this grant, even though we asked for it, which was really weird.
Because if we can get a guarantee back from them that they're going to approve those items, it's easier if the health department can't find the monies in their fund, if their fund doesn't support an additional appropriation for that, it makes it easier to go to like cum cap.
Yeah.
And
or my budget maybe and get it back
and put it back into the cum cap.
Yeah.
Once the grant goes back. But if we don't have any guarantee, then
and the other question though would be, how long is it going to take for them to reimburse us?
For the reimbursement.
We have to have it all spent by December 31st. But if we have it all spent by, say, December 1st, and we have it all submitted for reimbursement, and it's going to take them till June to send us the money, well, that's not great. But if they send it all to us for reimbursement by January 2nd, well, that's different.
Yeah.
But if we're waiting till June or September for them to finally send us the money, this is the state we're talking about. You know how slow they are to get things going sometimes.
Well, most things are slow, but
Yeah, I mean,
some of these grants have been pretty quick.
yeah, I'm just saying, you never know with some of these things. Sometimes it's really fast and sometimes it's really slow.
So you need our permission to apply, submit?
Just need the blessing, so to speak.
I'll move to approve the submission of the, what name we going to give this grant now?
It's
Health
the
IT
IT grant, CARES IT.
Here's
CARES. I'll move to approve the submission of this CARES Act grant application for the health department.
I'll second it.
There's a motion made and seconded that we approve the submission of the application for the IT Health Department's CARES Act grant. Any other questions for Matt or Michael? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you,
Don't
Matt.
go off yet. I have a
Okay.
question for you.
Yeah, I was gonna give you an update anyway on our COVID, on our
Any questions
a little bit of COVID stuff.
Thank you.
Our COVID, we've been getting a lot of recognition for being orange. I would like to say, I think we should be going down. In the last 5 days, we've only had 5 positives, so it's like, we should drop all the way down here. So it's kind of one of those things that's tricky. 1 week we'll be high, 1 week we'll be low, so we have been high on the COVID chart on the state, but we're continuing to go around the community businesses and restaurants and encourage mask use and go that route, so.
Matt, we were something like 13.9% positive. Was that the percentage they were using last week?
I never saw one that high. I heard that reported. There's 2 things you add together. We were like at 8.5 and then you add a 5 or something. So there was 2 numbers they add together and it's kind of confusing on which numbers they're using, but they're using the test site average per 100,000. So
out
the
of
number of positive per 100,000, and then they're using another metric where the percent positive at the testing site. So
To manipulate the numbers, in other words.
well, not manipulate. Everybody's using the same numbers, but ours were high.
So regardless, I mean, 10%, 12%, 13%, whatever that percent was, can you tell me what percent of that, our county population is being hospitalized because of the COVID?
I don't have a number like that. I saw Reed's numbers. Like today, they have 2 on event. That's like 16 on isolation, or 16 on the COVID, and 30 some total patients. But that's Reed. That's not.
That's
the state county.
Reed, Maine.
Yep. Yeah. So as far as, we don't have a number on how many have recovered. We don't have a number on how many are actually hospitalized.
I mean, I guess my concern is, and I've read some articles and some things that Dr. White has said as well in the paper, and our original intent with all of the precautionary measures that we put into place was to flatten the curve so that we don't overwhelm our healthcare system. And so I don't understand why we're talking about the cases that are positive rather than the cases that require hospitalization.
Yeah, and this is,
Because it seems like we're going backwards.
Yeah.
Our hospitalization numbers are going down,
But cases are going up.
but the positive cases are going up. So is
The speculation that I am hearing, and this is speculation, is that there is a type of immunity that people are building up. So it's an exposure immunity. So people are being exposed, so they have some tolerance built up. So they are getting the coronavirus. They're not getting as ill from it. So people are carrying it and not getting as ill. But the only concern out of a lot of people is that there are some people that are going to have a bad reaction. So we're still trying to calm or curb the spread of it. So to try to keep people from getting that. But Dr. White explained the whole process of some immunity from exposure that everybody's getting, and some possibly mutation in the virus, so it's not as deadly as it was when we started. So we're not seeing the hospitalizations, we're not seeing the problems there. The deaths that have occurred have been nursing home older patients that were on hospice. So we have seen some deaths in the nursing homes. So like I said, they were hospice patients.
So is it safe to say that our practices are working?
Yeah, mask
Even though our positive cases are going up.
Right, and wearing masks help. So
Yeah.
so some people don't want to wear masks, but it does help, and it's showing. As Dr. White said, because we're wearing a mask, we might be getting exposed, but we're not getting as high a dose of exposure. So that's might be part of contributing to our building up some immunity. So he said it way more elegant than I could, but that made a lot of sense. But yeah, I feel like even though we were orange, we still as a community are doing a good job of just using good old-fashioned, common sense approach. Sticking together when we're out. Everybody's doing the elbow bump or just a wave at this point in time. Nobody's, everybody's using common sense to help control it. The school's, been very active in monitoring and keeping control out there. So, but I did check the numbers, and we check the numbers daily. And when we were orange, I tried to correlate. Is there any one area that it's coming from? And it's not. It's kind of spread out, all age groups, all. That's
All locations of the county, city and county?
Yeah, so I don't see where it's an outbreak from one particular thing or any other thing. So, we did have high numbers before from nursing home, but now at this point in time, it's just kind of spread around. And you can't pinpoint one thing as being a cause or a problem. So it's just the normal spread now. So there was some talk from some kids coming home from school, possibly bringing it back home, and some other counties coming home from college, because they are having some outbreaks in colleges, from what I understand. And the kids are all asymptomatic, so they don't even realize it. So that it's just being transmitted. A lot of these are asymptomatic, and a lot of them are positives are even clinical, so, which means they weren't even tested. They just have symptoms.
Okay, I got a question for you. Are you guys gonna be giving, like flu shots, pneumonia vaccinations, and shingle vaccinations this year? Or?
Yes. Flu shots, pneumonia shots, we're scheduling appointments as of now. Our shipments, we're still waiting on shipments to come in. We have got some. So the only thing slowing us down right now is our billing. We're doing baby steps on our medical billing because only one person did that before and she's no longer here. So we have learned how to bill about 4 of the different insurance companies, and we're working on Medicare and Medicaid right now, which is going to be the big one for flu. Excuse me. So we're taking steps to learn to make sure we do that process right before we do clinics, but we are scheduling appointments.
Okay.
So we
Do you know the cost of what these will cost, like the shingle shot?
the shingle shot. We do not carry the shingle shot. You have to get the shingle shot, and we administer it. So that's usually given. You can get from your physician. You'll get a prescription for it, and then we can administer it, or you can have it administered there. But we have the pneumonia and the flu shots. So, but the shingles, yeah, it all depends on your insurance. So different insurances pay a different amount. I've seen anywhere from, from 140 to down and up. So depends on your insurance. So.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. But other than that, the office, I'm super happy with Desiree started for us. She's really got the right attitude, really right from the gate, learning and going. Amy's same way, learning, what her role is going to be, and learning the program. And we all have the same goal to really make that a community-based health department. And we're getting on track. So it's been some work, but we're getting there, and I really think it's gonna be a much better department, much better serve the community. Now, we will be doing flu shots. We're planning on making contacts with all our community partners, trying to do stuff off-site for flu shots like we used to do, pneumonia shots. And then also, we've been working with the school on vaccines. We're doing appointments on vaccines now. We plan to start scheduling clinics for vaccines as well as after hours.
So you're gonna try to get back into the senior center with your flu and,
We haven't contacted them yet, but it's on our to-do list to get back over there, so,
because we were
yeah.
going over there,
We'd
wasn't
go
we?
to the senior center, we'd go to all the businesses in town, we'd go to the factories and actually do all their employees, and we want to do that again, so, yeah.
Okay,
And then same, we're planning on setting something up for county employees and city employees and all that, so.
okay, great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Matt, thank you. Bill, do you have anything for us today? How about you, Jay? I bet you've got something, don't you?
He knows better than that,
Okay. When we talked about the chip box last meeting, I called the guy up there at Southeastern that I was talking to, and he says, even with this financing that I give you papers on, he said the earliest they could get a box down here would be the end of October, maybe the 1st of November. That's gonna about ruin your chip sealing season right there.
We're done.
Yeah, so we started paving today. We started putting hot mix down. We worked on down south of Columbia. We did a slip down there, we did cover some cans down there, and we went over, did the top part of that road on 390 because it was all broke up, and we just went ahead and paved it from the other road on out, and we're gonna take some grindings down and put it on the other half of it later on.
So
But we'll just keep.
really,
moving
you're gonna try to utilize the chip seal budget
on to hot mix.
for hot mix.
And they are right now, they said this time of year, they're actually knocked $3 off the ton, which is good.
Yeah.
Cuts
And
it
make
down
it go
a little
farther.
bit.
Make it go farther.
Yeah.
Up there on 700, what's your thoughts or ideas?
I'm still waiting on a guy to call me back on a grinder on it. I want to go up there and I want to grind that bump off it.
Okay.
I want to smooth it out and then just lay a patch over it.
Lay another.
Take that hump out altogether, because I can see where they're bottoming out going to the west.
They're
They're
yeah,
not
they're
doing it
going-
coming to the east, but they're doing it going to the west.
You can run 50, 55 easily going eastbound.
Yeah, and it's not
But
bad.
westbound, you can't get up that
Yeah,
fast.
you leave the ground.
And it's accelerated it.
Yeah,
But that's always been a problem intersection,
yeah.
as long as I've lived up there.
I didn't notice it being that bad till we put
But
that hot mix on.
it wasn't quite that bad. I mean, you did level it up, because going westbound, it would take you to the south as you went over it. And it doesn't pull you to the south now.
That's it. Better road.
Yeah,
But they're taking advantage of it, believe me.
yeah, they are.
I had one guy tell me, he says, just don't take it out. He said, eventually they might slow down if they tear enough cars up.
Taking up oil pans out.
Do you want me to proceed with Don Miller up there Southeastern on chip box, or what do you want me to do? It's up to you guys. Like I said, I can pay the payments for a 5-year deal out of my budget for next year, and as long as the budget don't change, it'll be there.
Yeah, I think the fact that they can't deliver one right away is giving us,
Gives us a little time, yeah.
give us some time to think this over, how to fund this thing. I told you the other day, I don't
But
like making payments.
Don't want to wait till after the first year, because a new model comes out, price may go up.
Well, here's a question I've got for you on this, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I just happen to think.
Go ahead, they all ready.
We was talking about this machine and the amount of loose gravel left on the top and everything, and you told me it was all computerized.
The new ones are computerized, yes.
Okay. I hope that there would be a manual override for that computerized system. Oh, I guarantee there's gotta be one, you just gotta be trained on it to do it.
Well, now, is your guarantee in writing? The reason I ask is, how many times have we seen these things that are now computerized, and then 5 years down the road, the computer stops working,
They don't sit on
and
it.
they don't service it anymore? You know,
We're not seeing that in the ag industry. And I'm sure we're not gonna see it in the
Well,
construction industry.
The ones that I found online early on when I was looking at them, but they didn't have the one for the extended box that had the computers, there was a lot of them that had been what do you call it, recalibrated, and they changed the
Yeah.
computer in it
They're
because they were outdated.
Yeah, they're continuously doing updates.
Upgrades on them, yeah.
Upgrades to
Yeah.
them. But I saw that in the ag industry with my last employer. I mean, they were yearly, just about yearly, coming out
Yeah.
and
Different versions.
doing different versions.
Yeah.
So, for the most part, at least the ag industry, they're making their improvements off of the last model,
Yeah.
so that the last model can be upgraded
Trying to make it better.
to the next model.
Because I looked at a couple of them, Dale, they had in there, and they had listed pricing, and I contacted them back and wanted to know why one was so much higher than the other one. And they did what was it? They had to do a reboot on the computer and change the model on it because it was outdated. They were both the same year, one serial number apart on both these machines. And one was like 40,000 more than the other. That was the one they had to go in and change the whole system out. That's what it costs you to get one changed out. Pretty much right around $40,000.
But I know, for instance, when we put in new GSI grain dryer, which used to be farm fans, when the computer screen come up, it said farm fans on it. And they come in after they got it all installed and everything. They did a firmware upgrade or whatever it was. Well, then they changed it from farm fans to GSI.
Yeah.
But so I know that they continue to. I mean, that was a farm fan system. They put a GSI name on it. Well, they upgraded it to a GSI after the fact. But
But
so
the two I was telling you about, Dale, they were 20 years old when they had to do the upgrade on them. So they're actually engineering where they're holding up pretty good.
yeah.
Because you don't find any out there on the market.
Well, my biggest concern and something that showed up. Number one, our chip box. It's been hard to control the amount of gravel you're putting down.
Well, the front roller, the way the old ones were, you got the metal roller and it's got like little panels that set against it.
Yes,
And once that roller gets wore out, it's hard to control the
it's
grass.
hard to control.
Yeah.
Number two, I'm noticing on 300, we've got potholes coming. That the stone didn't stick.
I've
For
noticed
some
some of that
reasons.
too. I went out and checked it too. And there was some what they call wheat drilling on it.
And there's a little
Yeah.
bit of wheat drilling.
Yeah. And I blame that on the distributor truck because he didn't have it quite set there. They didn't have the other valve on the front of it yet.
Okay.
But when they changed it and we went down there and did Beaver and did around on 500, did all that, and it turned out good.
Okay.
Yeah.
But 300, I'm noticing some
Yeah.
brand new potholes, or what I would call a pothole, but what it is the emulsion's there, but the stone in the hole is gone.
I don't think there was enough emulsion, is what it was.
I
The
don't know
grab
whether
itself.
that was chip box or
Yeah.
but I do know we put entirely too much stone on
Yeah, I think
300.
they got carried away on that.
And if this new chip box would alleviate those problems, we would save a lot of money just right
Oh yeah,
there.
because you punch it up and you punch up what amount of oil you're gonna put on the road, and it matches your stone to the oil.
Yeah,
And it only allows you to have that much stone.
yeah. So what you're saying is then if we choose to do this by the end of the year, your budget without making any alterations to it, could handle it
I think it can handle it, yeah.
Okay. on a 5-year plan.
Yeah, right now I've got, out of the fund that I figured on taking, I still got about 26,000 left in there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I figured on using it for some painting equipment. Somebody's been talking to me about.
Okay. All right. But is this 280, 275, is that a cash? Is that a cash price, or would they take less for, if we
I
pay?
think that's a set price, because I tried to get him to come down some more too,
Okay.
and it didn't work.
I wondered if we'd pay it all.
I'm not the horse trader Morris is. I can't get him to wheel and deal the way he does.
That's what I'd rather do, find a way to just pay for it and not have to stretch it out. If that's what we're gonna do, obviously, the way it sounds, more and more I learn about that old chip box is.
We need to do something.
Granted, it's old, but some of this, I'm a little bit leery of some of this new technology, because I know that
Expensive.
nothing beats a hand lever when it comes to making an adjustment compared to some of the computerized automated things we see.
There was a day I thought that, but I'm not.
No, but you got the
I'm
younger
not in
guys
that
coming.
boat anymore, Dale.
You got the younger guys coming along, Dale, and they're used to this computerized stuff.
Yeah.
The only thing I got against the new way is that it becomes obsolete a lot faster than
Yeah,
it
they
used to.
do.
It does.
It's like your computer you buy and put in your office. In
And then it's,
5 years, it's
Yeah.
ready to be put out the window.
But I know we've got, in the ag industry, we've got some 20-year-old tractors out there
Yeah.
that went computer, and they're still out there. So, I mean, I would think construction would be
Should be a lot better.
even
There's got a lot
stronger,
of them out there.
because they go through a lot more.
And and you don't see a lot of them on the market to use them. Because I've been looking, and
Yeah.
so they must be doing something right with
when
them.
you're
They're
wore out,
hanging on
you're
to
wore
it.
out.
Yeah.
Well, I'll help you shop if you need any
Well-
help shopping.
I don't know why the MVH fund wouldn't support that, but if that would be your choice to do it all up front, but
Those are all numbers that I don't have in front of me right now, but for all intents and purposes, our chip seal season is over for the year.
yeah, now if we can't get
Yeah,
one.
so we're gonna, we got time to study this more closely,
And do more shopping around
do
too.
more shopping around, and
Not really a lot of places.
I was gonna say, where are you gonna go? There's only a couple of dealers in Indiana, period.
Because I've called a bunch of different constructions, and I tried McAllister, they don't deal with them. Nobody does.
Yeah,
There's only a set few that deal with the chip boxes.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's what they'll find too. Because you just don't hear of any other dealers.
Well, the old one we got wasn't a Netnar, it was an MHS. And there it's out of Wisconsin or someplace like that.
Yeah. And I'd just soon stay here in the state.
Well, Etnar is right over there in Illinois, where they build them at.
I mean, with a dealer.
Yeah, the dealers in the state, yeah.
Because if we need service, we don't need it next week. We
That's
need
right.
it today, And with them Southeastern being up in Indianapolis, they'll be down here if you call them.
well, does anybody build a better one than
The one I've seen, the Etnar looked like the best one out there, because they've got the hoppers that dump, like your pavers have got. And see, all the old ones didn't have that. You had a lot of waste in them and everything like that.
And what that hopper does, it
Folds it all to the
completely
belts. Yep.
cleans out the
Yeah, gets rid
the
of,
chip box, doesn't it?
you don't have, when you put the 9s down and you go to the 11s, you don't have anything left in there to
Right.
mix up with your.
You don't have to run anybody's driveway to run out all the
Yeah, or to find a gravel road to go down and dump it out.
or a gravel road or
Yeah.
yeah.
You
Like
look at
I've
the nearest
seen-
place.
seen you guys do before
Yep.
to clean it out. All right.
Had to give us some time.
Okay. Then I've got these for you. I only found the one guy again, and he's the only one, I don't know what it is about working on industrial buildings, they don't seem to want to do it. That's on that, 2 heaters, radiant 2 heaters, Dale.
Radiant heaters, yeah.
Yeah.
He's awful proud of them, ain't he?
Yeah, he is. Jane, do you want a copy of this?
I know I didn't give that for mine.
He's proud of them.
Yeah.
This is
And he didn't speak too highly of them neither. That was the strange part. He thought they emptied the heat out too quick when you opened the doors. He said it takes them too long to heat them back up. Because they got to heat everything in the room is what they're doing.
I'll tell you what, my experience, it's been a quicker recovery.
I don't know.
My experience with them is positive too.
Yeah. We put them in the firehouses, that firehouse out at Glenwood when we built that firehouse. And you throw them 3 doors up in the middle of winter and run with trucks, and normally you didn't take time to close it. The next guy into the firehouse would close them, and 10-15 minutes, it was hot in there again.
Well, we're using them, they use them in the expo hall, 14 acres.
Fuzzy had them in that building out there that he was in and out of, opening and shutting doors all the time. And I like them. My experience has been very good, but I just thought this looked. Did you try Bader's?
I tried. I got a list of the ones I called. Let me find it here. Because I couldn't believe no way. The guy that did a lot of the electrical work, we called him, and he hadn't been back on it. Because Morris has been trying to find out. We tried Kane, we tried Layton, and that Fields is the only 3 we've got a hold of.
Ludwig's?
I don't think they tried him. I don't know. I'd have to check with Morris.
Try B&B Air.
B&B
in
Air.
Indianapolis. They've sold these things for a number of years. They're a big dealer, probably one of the biggest dealers in the state.
Okay. B&B Air.
B&B Air.
Okay. I would think Ludwig's would deal in these
You
two.
would think so.
Through maybe Connersville Heating and Cooling. Connersville Heating and Cooling is owned by Ludwig's, so you might be able to call up there and find somebody to talk to commercially.
Did this fella here that gave you this quote, did he ask you the dimensions of the building?
Oh yeah, he come in and measured and everything.
Okay. He doesn't tell really what size heaters these are. Yes.
No. It's gonna be hard to compare apples to apples.
Yeah. There's not even an apple here. I mean, it's just.
Yeah. Maybe before you get another estimate, you might call him and ask him what kind of BTUs he's talking about for that price.
Well, he don't, does he?
BTU, radio or something like that.
Yeah. These things run so economical.
I've always thought so.
They run cheap. I mean,
I've never had no deal with them, so I don't know.
Especially since we got natural gas down there.
yeah.
It ought to really run cheap.
Yeah.
But I'd sure try some more
Okay.
companies before you say yay or nay to this price. This seems high to me, but
Does me too.
I haven't seen them priced for a while, so this may be the COVID.
They're like anything else, they're gonna keep going up and
Yeah,
up.
this may be the COVID pricing.
You never know.
Is that a Kobe heater?
Was that all you had?
The
That's
grant.
it.
Okay, now I got another one for you.
I knew that was coming.
I told you the other day that we'd had another incident out there on Ziegler Road at the stop sign.
Yeah,
A visitor to the area couldn't see the stop sign and slid right into Mr. Collins's driveway. All four tires locked up. Luckily, nobody was hurt. The rumble strips that we glued down out there,
They're gone.
they're worn
well,
out.
there's some of them left, but there's quite a few gone. We could put more in place of them to get through the winter, but we went out and measured it off, and you can see where he slid from. He actually applied the brakes right there at the intersection.
Yeah, he
and
slid
into their driveway.
over 100 feet. He slid because they measured it.
They measured it.
They
I can see the skid marks when we went out there and looked at it.
I'm gonna say, in the intersection, doesn't equate
But
100
it-
feet, but
We was talking about, and then we thought we'd put another stop ahead sign up there at the top of the hill, not where the first one's at, where one past it, with a flashing light on it. Draw their attention to it. I don't know what else. I mean, we could grind it, once we get a grinder, we can grind them, but
can the city's grinder do this?
I ain't had much luck with the city grinder.
All right. I didn't know whether it had an attachment to do that
Yeah.
grinding or
Yet,
not.
one department's got the Bobcat they use for it, and the other department's got the grinder. So you have to go with both departments.
Well, now, the people that do grind these
Now, I could ask,
strips into existing pavement, how do they do it?
I think they got a grinder to use on them, I think.
They're actually ground. I
Yeah,
think.
because I could ask the guy from the paving company when I see him.
After the fact. Now,
Yeah.
don't they have some kind of indentions on rollers on new asphalt that they make those indentions on the highways?
I've never seen them do it, I'm not sure.
I think they do.
The state does
That
on the
little
side.
barrel
Yeah, the
strip
state
on
does the
side
sides.
of the road,
Yeah.
I think they do roll those in.
I can
They roll
ask,
those in
Yeah.
I
on
can
new
ask, I
asphalt.
can ask Alex how they do it, because he used to work for the state.
But I think they do that
Yeah.
way on new ones, but I think they're, where you've got existing pavement, I think
Yeah.
you do grind, but I don't know how. But we need to do something more permanent out there, I think. I don't know whether it's signage, I don't know whether it's rumble
I don't know.
strips, I think it'd be nice to have maybe some traffic stops out there for a while. You know,
We could put a big gate up, and when you
Make a
go too
tow
far,
road.
it drops down on you. What do you think?
but
Make
I mean,
the
it's
tow
kinda
road,
like-
You gotta pay to get off of
we
it.
had an incident several years ago when I was commissioner before, someone coming in and talking about Falmouth and them traveling through Falmouth so fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, you know, I understand what you're saying. They were asking for speed limit signs. And I said, ma'am, in all reality, we can go out there and put 130 mile an hour speed limit signs. And if there's no one out there to enforce those signs,
Nothing.
it doesn't mean
Yeah,
nothing
they won't stop.
to those people driving through there, fast, anyway. And this is the same way. We can put 100 signs out there,
You ain't gonna stop nothing.
and it's not gonna stop them people from driving that fast on that road until it's enforced.
You go through Manlove Park, that's why they got speed bumps up there.
Yeah.
And it does slow you down.
They got big ones.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're about 5 mile an hour speed limit
You
bumps.
go, that's probably too fast.
So I mean,
Well, Gary, in this case, this most recent incident, the fellow that slid through the intersection was from out of state. And he said that it was late in the evening and said the sun was in his eyes. And he didn't see the stop sign until just the last second. Now, if there'd been a rumble strip a rumble strip that worked, it might have alerted him
Yeah.
better. You know.
That's why I say we could go ahead and, he can get more of those stick-on ones and take the ones out that are gone and replace them and run it and see what happens. But until we find a grinder, it'd be the easiest way to do it. Because
Yeah.
all you
What
do
kind
is
of
heat them
cost
and stick them on there.
What
Huh?
kind of cost is involved in this?
I'd have to check with him. It's,
I mean, is it something that we could replace every 30 days
it's not
or
as,
60
well,
days?
you buy them in a
Efficiently?
set. You buy them in a set and you use what you need out of them and save the rest for a later
I mean,
date.
if they're not that expensive, maybe that's the cheapest route, is just to
Keep replacing them.
keep the maintenance up on it. I mean, don't let them get to where they are right now. I mean,
But I think the snowplow is what does it to them.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's not.
Well, if you go down there and look at them, the only part that's worn out and missing is where the tire tracks are.
Yep. Well, that's where you about where the corner of your snowplows are at too, Dale. On the small trucks, 'cause that's the
Chip
small
it
trucks
out.
that are doing it.
So I don't know.
Well, I'll work with you to try to come up with a solution to this, Jay, if you don't mind. But I know we could improve signage. Signage is easy.
Do whatever we can.
But the rumble strips that we've got now are not working.
Well, they're not effective.
They're not
Could you,
effective.
could you get a concrete saw and you cut the stripes yourself?
I don't know if just cutting with the stripes with the concrete's all be enough to alert you.
Yeah.
Because it needs to be about that wide, what it needs to be. So
Yeah,
it gets
I
your
mean,
attention.
cut chunks
and it'll
out
go
of
quick.
it. You know?
Now too, Jay, isn't there some reflectors that can be inserted into the pavement lines?
I can look in the book and see, because we got a book in there on all kinds of different stuff.
You know, some intersections you see, you come over a hill or whatever, and there's yellow reflectors that are kind of rumble strips as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they're reflectors, they reflect, but I don't know what kind of results. I mean, state normally uses a rubber blade plow, don't they?
Well,
Because of those reflectors?
I don't know if they do or not. Because I know on their big flux trucks, they got carbide blades on those like we got.
Well, yeah, they do.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether you could plow over, I mean, whether you could hit those kind of strips or not and not plow them out or break them. But my only concern is we've spent several dollars on a flashing stop sign
Yeah.
out there, and he said he still couldn't see it.
Well, you got certain times of
Well,
day,
that was
sun
from-
blinds you out there too.
You know, we're right in the season where the sun is setting.
Yeah,
just
if it's coming
almost-
right over, if it's
right
right above
along
his house,
the
but it's
road.
gonna get you coming down the hill.
Yeah.
Well, there's certain roads like that.
Well, I hate to get to the point where we have to close those roads when the sun
In
goes
certain
down.
hours.
Well,
Just because of the sun.
yeah, I hope not.
It's kind of like putting up four-way stops just because somebody had a wreck.
Well, it's the same thing when you top Third Street Hill.
Yep.
Yeah, Third Street Hill's the
Close
same.
to
You can't see
Sunset, you've got a blind area there at the top of the hill because the
Yeah,
sun
because
is
really, something you see ain't gonna help you when you're looking in the sun. You
Yeah.
need something that's gonna wake you up.
right. And there's where the rumble strip is.
Yep.
Well,
I can get him checked and see how much the
I would-
replacements are gonna cost. and
Yeah,
go that.
I would either look
I'm
at.
still waiting on that guy over there, Flat Rock, to call me back on that grinder, so.
Okay.
All right.
We got a hold of him last Thursday. He said he'd get us a quote on it, on what we was talking about, and he stays busy because he paves too, so.
Well, I'll help you remember on this.
Okay. Just don't give me no more trouble up north.
Oh,
To go along with
I
the
wouldn't
mail.
do that. I wouldn't get you in any trouble, Jay.
The mail that we've received and the concerns with the potential of painting or striping. Now I have a question for you. Now Butler Fairman the other day said that if we paint anything, we need to paint the center line. 'Cause
Not
that's
the outside edges.
Not the outside edges.
I'm seeing people
Because
are
it's
yelling about the
regulatory.
outside.
Yeah, it's regulatory.
Yeah.
So if you paint the outsides, you need to paint the middle first, or do it as well. And he said that we need two lines
In the middle.
in the middle. But
Oh,
I
you're making-
question that because I've noticed the city repainting their streets and they're putting one yellow line down the middle.
Yeah. Some spots they're putting the staggered lines, like coming down Western. I don't think you're supposed to be passing in town.
It's solid yellow,
Yeah.
one, but not two. So I wonder why they can paint one solid, but Butler Fairman's saying the county has to paint two solids for no passing.
Because they travel at a higher speed out in the county.
I don't know. So I don't know if you could check
I
on your
think
DOT
up on
books.
700, you're gonna need about 4.
Yeah. But Mark and I was talking earlier, I'm of the opinion just to give them a center line, go out and paint all the roads that, just dot them. Just dash them and, people pass at their own risk anyway. But it would cheapen the cost of the paint. We still have the cost of the equipment and the labor of doing it. But, can we afford to go out here and paint all these new roads, stripe all these roads as we go? Yeah, we can afford to do it the first time, but the question
You're gonna have
is,
to keep it up, that's the problem.
how often are we gonna have to repaint them, number one? And once we establish that, can
Everybody
we
in the
afford,
county's gonna want it, and we can't afford it.
can we afford to maintain those?
What are we
stripes?
gonna lose on our other road repair by painting the roads in the
Oh.
first place?
That's what, when I talked to Wayne County that time, they said, if you're not doing it, don't do it, because
Yeah,
it gets too expensive.
Real fast.
Yep.
I can see.
How many
it being very
miles,
expensive.
about 400?
We're at 3,
I think like 404,
is it
405.
404,
Is it
something
over
high?
400 now?
We've gained a few.
Gravel, yeah.
It used to be 380 something.
390 something, wasn't it?
Or
396 or something like
396,
that?
or, yeah, I think you're right. But that's what scares me. I'd be going out in December, I'd be all in favor of voting for painting roads. But if I truly care about the finances of the county and the well-being of the county, I have to hesitate because I don't know if we can afford down the road to maintain those stripes. And then asking the attorney, doesn't that open up a bigger liability
Yeah, sure.
to the county? If that wasn't properly striped or properly painted, or it wasn't visual, you couldn't visualize it, you
Yeah.
couldn't see it.
When it gets faded, you gotta put
Because
it
it's-
back in.
We didn't get it repainted quick enough, soon enough.
Well, the requests for striping keeps coming in, and the more we pay,
The more it will come in.
The more requests we get.
And now we've started it.
Yeah,
We're gonna start it in October.
yeah.
Well, I'll
Because
tell you,
these new roads this year are gonna get striped. And
paint all of our roads at 20 cents a foot, that's gonna be $42,240,000.
Now, does that include the gravel roads? I guess it does.
That's it, I'm just saying that 400 miles of road.
400 miles of road, which is,
That'd be
There's
hard.
no way we can afford that.
No,
and that's just one, painting it the first time.
Yeah, they don't count maintenance.
The biggest problem is that when we put this new pavement down, you're raising the edge of the road. The older roads, where the dirt's high on the side, it don't matter that much.
Yeah, but you get high enough, then it's like a bobsled run.
So let me ask you,
Back,
Like
Just-
driving up against the curb.
Jay,
That's the way my lane is.
if it's the berm that's the problem, is it much cheaper to spend more money on stone, restoning the berms?
Well, we stoned quite a bit of them, because we went through and did them.
Yeah,
and
you did.
It didn't seem to help. They still claim they get you if you drive off. And if you drive off the edge, if there's a taper out there, it's gonna get you no matter what,
Yeah, I think so too.
unless you build the whole berm up, all the way out there.
Out to the bottom of the ditch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I'm referring to. That's the only way to build that berm up properly, is go clear to the bottom of the ditch.
That way they
line.
don't drop off when they get over the edge.
Yeah. Because you either drop off the edge of the pavement, or you drop off the edge of the berm,
Yep.
the gravel berm
Right.
that they've created. So,
Put a real
I mean,
little-
I'm interested in looking at a solution for these new roads, but I want to make it affordable for the
Yeah.
next.
Put a real little speed limit on it.
Well, you're still waiting
Crawling
on
down
some
the road.
prices on the striping machine, aren't you?
Yeah, I talked to, I need to talk to him, but he's getting the price on that one too,
Yeah.
what he had over there.
And that's a unit that sits in a truck,
Yeah.
a pickup truck.
Yeah. That'd be better than one like they're using in the city, you have to walk around and push.
yeah.
Do
I'm
you
afraid
know-
our lines wouldn't be very straight, some of the guys down there.
Do you know yet
I'm
what,
concerned about the straightness in a pickup truck.
Yeah, yeah, that's that could be a problem too.
do you know yet what that paint actually costs a gallon?
I forget what he told me up there in Wayne County, but I can find out.
Well, that's one thing to consider.
We're
too.
gonna have to look at the total budget, so,
Yeah.
of the project. I mean, if we're gonna,
Cost of the machines and cost of, and how long do they think the machines will actually last?
and cost of paint,
Yep.
how
Or
often
how
we're gonna
many
have
of
to
the other
paint.
counties around have painted lines on their roads?
Well, I know what Franklin County had, because I just seen one they just did.
Rush County is not painting.
Yeah. They actually strip patched theirs with hot mix and chip sealed over it with white limestone. That way you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah, state highways out here chip sealing and painting it black, and
They're doing it white.
the counties are paving and chip sealing over it to make it white.
I can find out. I can do some research on it.
I mean,
call
for us
and
to
ask the
honestly
city what
make
they
it-
pay for it.
A wise decision on it. We've got to see all the costs that are involved.
Yeah, we need more information than what we have today, for sure. But, you know, highway safety is the issue.
Yep.
And how do you determine you've done
More deputies.
all you can do?
Yeah, you don't want to build
More
your edge of your road up so high that it stops the water from draining off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
the-
you still gotta be careful of
Yeah, you
that.
got to be careful because you'll keep the water on the road, and then you're gonna be slick in wintertime.
Yep.
I mean, that small drop off of that pavement that we're creating, in most places, it's a small drop off.
There's some
That's
places it's deep.
Yes, in some places it's much deeper than others,
Well,
but
maybe we ought.
that's the road we need to be creating, so the water
Yep.
goes
Should
away
we be
from the
putting
road.
less pavement down when we're doing these roads in, or instead of putting 2 inches down, put an inch or so?
I think you'd be throwing your money away, because I don't
Yeah.
think that asphalt
Yeah,
would
what
last
do you
near as
think?
long. I think that new surface would fall apart quicker.
Yeah, the thicker you put it, the better it is.
Yeah, it'll stick together.
Because we don't have
Mine
good roads in the first place, in
No.
most places. I mean, so we need all the thickness we can get.
Yep.
And there's just so many of our roads, going back to the chip box discussion, due to that chip box that has created such a crown over the years of chip sealing
Yep.
with the overlapping in the
Then when
center.
you sand them in the wintertime, you're getting even more.
Yeah, and so when we go in to pave, they're doing so much wedging and leveling to try to get that back up to where it needs to be,
Yeah.
that we create that big
Edge.
drop off.
Yeah.
We're trying to build a safer road, and in turn, one fix is creating another
Yeah.
headache,
One problem makes more, 2 more.
as I see it. I mean,
We could just put a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit on all the roads and slow them down. Maybe that'll help.
Yep, well, I don't know.
I really don't think that'd slow anything down.
I don't either, but I just thought.
not unless it's enforced.
Yeah,
I mean, that goes back to the enforcement issue.
because that's what the guy told me up there on 700. When he asked me what we was going to do about that intersection, he said, "You ain't going to slow them down. You can put a speed limit sign up, and they're not going to slow down."
Better the road is, the faster they go.
Yep.
Yep. And let me tell you, they're using 700. to its fullest.
It's got the marks on it to prove it. too.
Yeah. And I bet 800's a lot faster up there too.
Yeah.
Just the patching that you did.
Well, and we done the last mile solid all the way out through there.
Yeah.
That makes it even worse. Yep.
Okay, we're not gonna solve anything today on that, so.
But I'll get some information on it.
Start
I'll check
getting-
with the city and see where they get their paint at.
Yeah,
I will go right up and check with Wayne County.
actually, I think they're buying it through Sherman-Williams right here in town, I think.
I wonder how they're getting it through Sherman-Williams, because most of that paint's got crystals in it to make it more reflective. Make it last longer.
I don't know, but I think maybe
The
they're,
machine we looked at over there had the pot, and it was full of crystals that they left in it when they
They put it
created
separate?
now, I know the
Yeah,
machine
they're in a
came,
separate pot, and the paint, it
It blends.
blows them into them, yeah.
I know their new machine came from Sherman-Williams,
Oh, yeah?
yeah. I know that for a fact, but I think maybe I was told that's where their paint comes from, but. So you might give them a call
I
and
can find
see
out,
if they can get highway
Yep.
yellow. The highway
see
paint,
what the prices are on it.
yeah.
How
I'd
long
love
it's-
to be able to
How
do-
long it'll last.
I'd love to be able to do it local business if we can get it locally. But, all right, thank you, sir. All right. Man, we've been here a long time, we haven't moved much very far.
Too much talking.
And we gotta hurry this up, I've got engagement to get to, so. Old business. We've got here repealing the ATV ordinances, plural.
There were 3 ordinances that were all instituted in 2015, a couple months apart. This ordinance would repeal all 3 of them, so you would no longer have a ATV, UTV, off-road vehicle, golf cart ordinance in the county. Which I don't think we
Restricting
can
their
do
use.
some of the, I don't know whether you could do them then, but you can't do some of the things you do and the fees and things like that, you can't do that now anyway, so.
Okay, all right. So this
So we're
would,
passing the ordinance, and the ordinance is gonna repeal the old ordinance.
You're repealing 3 ordinances, that's what you're doing. Which is what government entities ought to do more often instead of creating new laws or getting rid of old ones.
this would be ordinance number 2020-02. An ordinance to repeal ordinance numbers 2015-12, 2015-15, and 2015-17. To adopt the changes approved by the county of Fayette, be it ordained by the commissioners of Fayette County, Connersville, Indiana, section 1, that ordinance number 2015-12, 2015-15, and 2015-17 are repealed, passed, ordained, and established by the commissioners of Fayette County, Indiana on this 15th day of September 2020. Very well written, Jay.
I don't think it sounded near as well as the first one.
Well, I don't
Previous
either.
one.
Now,
So,
report.
not enough whereas.
I'll move to pass ordinance 2020-02.
I'll second the motion.
There's a motion made and seconded that we pass ordinance number 2020-02. Are there any other questions for Jeff or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. Now, Jeff, we can do this with one
Yes.
motion, okay. All right. Any other old business that we want to talk about?
There's something here that well, you want, I'll just wait till new business. I got a question for you guys on new business.
All right. Anything else? New business then.
New business.
First of all, declaring community corrections vehicle as a surplus. What
vehicle is it?
I'm not familiar.
I'm not bringing that detail. Hold on.
It was a 2002 Ford something.
I'm not aware.
Is it good or junk?
How do, or what's the purpose of declaring it surplus?
So we can sell it at Coombs's auction.
Yeah.
Hang on here a minute, we need one for the dog catcher temporary or something.
Well, and that's what I wondered, if it's a vehicle that's usable, but it may not, we may not be able to use it because it was probably bought under a grant.
A 2002 Ford Explorer 4x4.
It could be, I mean, he could make it work up there, but I just wonder if it's, we're capable of transferring it to the, or if we declared it a surplus, then could.
Can't we appropriate it from one department to another?
Well, I don't think so if it's a grant, if it's bought with a grant. Unless we declare, I wonder if we declare it a surplus, then it becomes usable anywhere we,
If it's a surplus,
Yeah.
it looks like we could use it where we need it.
I don't know how that one was bought. I know that when, here, it's been a month ago,
the 2002.
we
that's-
asked for the department heads for any surplus they might need to get rid of, and Michelle Dudley emailed in that she had that one that needed to go. I can't remember. Jane, you saw Michelle's email, didn't you?
That's what I just read.
Okay.
The 2002 Ford Explorer 4x4 that needs to go.
We didn't act on declaring any surplus at last meeting, and that auction is this Saturday. The vehicle may have already been delivered over to Kansas. I didn't know the dog catcher needed anything else right now.
He's without a vehicle, period, now.
Really?
He's using his own, because he's waiting on a mechanic to fix the main truck.
Okay, I hadn't heard from Dave. I didn't know he was without a vehicle.
I mean, Mark's of the opinion that we need to ask council for an additional Kim Cap and get him a new vehicle yet this year.
Personally, myself, I think we ought to have a new vehicle. If we can give the EMT honcho a new vehicle, I think our dog catcher needs it worse because he's riding around the whole county.
I mean, we have tried to piecemeal that department for quite some time,
Yeah.
buying used vehicles and
Junk and
using
fixing it and fixing it.
surplus vehicles we got in the county system and so on and so forth. And I told Mark I'll be more than happy to talk to Chad when he gets back. He's gone this week, out of town, but I'll be glad to talk to him about the city, see if he can find the funds, the city can find the funds to share that cost to do it yet this year, but
Or we could use an EMT vehicle. Could use an EMT vehicle part-time. We use it during the day and they can have it at night.
so I don't know what you want to do with the animal shelter. This vehicle is probably too old to, and you're right, it's
2002.
probably already been delivered, so.
I have no idea what kind of condition it's in. But if we, if we decide not to surplus it and repurpose it today, then, we can pull it out of the sale, even though it's been advertised, we could pull it. But, I don't know.
Michelle has probably wanted to put it in the sale because it deserves to be in the sale.
Probably shot.
Yeah. So I don't have any problems with that, but let's go ahead and act on that. Do
Okay,
we
I'll move to
approve the request?
declare a surplus vehicle and it goes to the sale, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll second the motion.
There's been a motion made and seconded to approve the community corrections vehicle as surplus request that they've requested. Is there any other questions on that issue? All in favor?
Aye.
Just 3 ayes. But I don't know where we want to go. I mean, do we want to get on the agenda get Dave to get some numbers for us and get on the council's agenda for an additional
We'll start shopping.
out of Kim Cap and month or next month, and
He might as well, if he's without a vehicle, he's gotta get one sooner or later.
you know, I don't know what Reedmans have got down there, and I don't know what Larkins have got up there as far as sitting on the lot, but
I don't either.
surely they can
Maybe
find
we'll start
something.
looking and find something reasonable.
But well, Mark, do you want to ask him to get a couple of quotes
Yeah, oh,
from those two dealers? From those two dealers,
is it Larkin?
the Ford dealership, I think it's Larkins now,
Yeah, it's Larkin now.
and Reedmans. And then we could compare them to the state bids, and,
Okay.
because I think we have access to the state bids, don't we, Jane? By with the email, maybe?
Now, how do you want to price that? Like cages and everything?
Oh, I don't know. Whatever he thinks he needs, I think,
Okay.
to use it efficiently. If he can continue with a camper shell and
I tell them to price everything, we'll start knocking the door.
and dog boxes, or whether he
Yeah.
feels that he needs or would like to have a animal control bed on it
Yeah.
with the separate boxes,
Probably a resolution.
whatever he feels that department needs, don't you? I'm not interested in micromanaging.
Yeah. He knows what he needs. I don't.
He knows what he could use or what would make it a better department. That's what we're trying to do, is make it a better department.
And he knows whether he needs a full size or a smaller truck.
Yeah.
and
Maybe we could get him one of those Jeep Gladiators, who knows?
Maybe a Humvee.
Yeah. I think they quit making the Hummer.
that's- Yeah, they did.
So we're out of luck there.
What it replaces is something else now.
Dogs couldn't chew the tires off those.
No, they couldn't. All right, Darryl, you said you had something else under new business.
Yeah, our local museum through HCI has an opportunity to potentially host an exhibit from the Smithsonian Institution. And it all has all to do about water as modes of travel, which our canal history here would fit right in with that. And the application process requires some letters of support from local units of government and things like that. And I have some information that's coming to Jane, maybe yet today, about this. And I just wanted to ask you guys if you would support,
Yeah.
Sign on.
be willing to sign a
Yeah.
letter of support for this project, and or not, and at some later date we'll have something drawn up
Okay.
for
Be
our
fine.
approval.
Yeah.
Sounds great. It's gonna bring tourists, isn't it?
Well, we hope so. That's
That's the
what-
goal.
That's the museum's goal, is to tell
Yeah.
Fayette County's history and to
Yeah. Yeah.
teach
man.
not only our own.
I'll tell you, you watch the paper every now and then, that one guy puts some things, and some of it's really interesting what happened years ago.
Mhm.
Okay, well, I'll have more on that later, perhaps our next meeting.
Okay. Anything else under new business? I see the Patriots all stuck around, so.
I'll move to approve claims and payroll.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded to pay claims and payroll as presented. Any questions? I only have one thing, that problem we're running into. I want to let everybody know. Cume Jail is basically busted for the remainder of the year. They're continuing to have repairs and maintenance costs coming in. I've helped Terry and Jane. We have set up some line items in Cume Cap to utilize that remodeling money to pay those repairs. We have no other choice but to use Cume Cap funds currently. And so, but these line items will we'll be able to track, you'll be able to track futurely anything that's paid for the jail and its costs out of that. But I told Terry, I said, I don't know of any other place we can go. We've got bills coming due, overdue, past due, and we have to get them paid, so.
Yeah, I was talking to Bill Gray one day last week, and he'd been working on air handlers again all day that day.
And then some.
Uh,
I think it was more than just that day. It was 2 or 3 days last week. So these repairs are gonna continue coming. And like I said, Cume Jail cannot support it. We can't, I mean, it doesn't do us any good to go ask for an additional because it's not there. The fund's not gonna support it. So I didn't know of any other choice but to tell Terry to.
Some of these repairs, we might be able to recover our money on the Cordova thing, shouldn't we?
Well, and that's what we're trying to do is look at the fact that improving or redoing the air handlers because of better air, better filtration to keep viruses out, so on and so forth. But that takes time to set those things up, and it's got to be expended. It's got to be expended before December 31st.
Yeah.
I mean, it's government doesn't usually work that fast.
Yeah.
And especially since the contractors are covered up the way it is.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any quotes yet.
I haven't either. So I just wanted to let you guys know that we've rearranged some of the cum cap line items so that we can continue paying those bills.
Yeah.
And I've asked her to, Jane and her are labeling those line items specifically for jails, repair supplies and jail services, which would cover the labor of those repairs, so that can easily be, a report can easily be run and say, here's what we're spending on jail repairs.
Yeah.
How long are we gonna do this, or how, when we're talking about trying to do a renovation project or whatever, an upgrade of the jail or. So anyway, that goes along with these claims, and I just wanted to let you guys know that what we were trying to do to keep the bills paid.
Well, thanks for doing it.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. Is this the only one thing
Yes, because the way payroll's spelled, you approved the last payroll at your last meeting, and this payroll's not done yet.
Okay, all right.
So you just have regular claims, no payroll this time.
All right, sounds great.
By the way, I'd like to mention Jane graduated from college. Congratulations, Jane.
And I believe with high honors as well.
With highest distinction.
There you go.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Congrats.
Publicly, congratulations. She's put a lot of hours into that.
I don't see how she done it, to tell you the truth.
I don't either.
So, and now you have a master's degree in,
A bachelor's degree.
oh, bachelor's, I thought it was
Yeah.
a master's.
No. In accounting.
Okay.
Okay, there.
Well, but it's actually business administration with a concentration in accounting.
Did we get the minutes? Did we approve the minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, we approved them.
Well, I remembered
The very first thing.
the drainage board minutes, but I didn't remember the main minutes.
feels like it ought to be a master's. I feel like I've had a degree. I just didn't have the paper that said I had a degree.
That's like Jamie. When she got her associate's degree, she said, it feels like I should have gotten a bachelor's. It took so long. We're gonna hold off on that. Resolution? Okay. I thought it said, no, I don't think we did. Here's the resolution for Bruce thing. The scanner, or whatever it is. Is this my copy?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else needs to come before us? If none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn.
One second.
Motion made and seconded for adjournment. All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. Meeting adjourned.